No one remembered the exact moment when the dead zone was declared unlivable. It happened slowly, decision by decision, report by report, until every major galactic council agreed on one thing. The planet was a mistake. A world with unstable gravity, violent storms, poisoned soil, and creatures that hunted with terrifying intelligence. Even advanced alien races could not survive there for long, so they left. They placed warning beacons in orbit, red lights flashing into space, and marked the planet as forbidden forever. But humans were different. When the last alien fleet jumped away, one small human ship did not follow. It broke formation, burned its engines hard, and dropped toward the planet's surface. The pilot knew the warnings. He had read the reports. He understood the danger. Still, he descended. His name was Elias Rook. Elias was not a soldier by choice. He had been one because the galaxy forced him to be. Humanity was new to interstellar travel, and that made them weak in the eyes of older races. Trade deals often turned into threats. Borders were tested. Skirmishes happened in dark space where no laws existed. Elias had fought in those places. He had seen human colonies burned because they were considered temporary. He had watched allies abandon humans when stronger enemies arrived. So when a war broke out near the dead zone, Elias understood the truth faster than most. The conflict started as a border dispute. A powerful alien coalition wanted control of nearby systems rich in energy crystals. Humans had settled there first, building small stations and mining bases. The coalition sent diplomats at first. Then came demands. Then came warships. Human defenses were weak. Their fleets were small. When the first battle happened, it was clear they could not win a long war. The alien coalition offered a solution. Humans could retreat, leave their stations, give up their claim. In return, the coalition would allow them safe passage to another system. Many human leaders argued. Some wanted to fight anyway. Others wanted to survive. Elias was there when the final message arrived. "You are not strong enough," the alien commander said calmly through the hologram. "This space does not belong to you. Leave or be erased." Elias watched the human council argue for hours. In the end, fear won. Evacuation orders were sent. Ships began to flee. That was when Elias made his choice. Instead of running, he took his small transport ship and changed course. He aimed for the dead zone. The war followed him. The alien coalition did not like unfinished business. When they detected a human ship heading toward the forbidden planet, they assumed it was a trick or a secret weapon. Scouts were sent, then hunters, then a warship. Elias felt the first impact as his ship entered the planet's atmosphere. Anti-air fire struck his engines. Warning lights filled the cockpit. Fire licked across the hull. He fought the controls, guiding the damaged ship down through thick clouds and burning air. He crashed hard. Metal screamed as the ship tore through trees and stone. The impact threw Elias forward. Pain exploded through his body. Darkness took him. When he woke, everything hurt. Smoke filled the broken cockpit. Outside, the sounds were worse, deep growls, heavy footsteps. The dead zone was alive. Elias dragged himself out of the wreck. His weapon was gone, supplies were scattered. Blood ran down his face. He expected death. Instead, he survived. The first night was hell. Creatures moved in the dark. Eyes glowed between trees. Something massive roared far away, shaking the ground. Elias hid inside the broken hull, barely breathing, holding a sharp piece of metal as his only defense. Morning came slowly, and with it a strange silence. Elias explored carefully. The forest was thick, alien, and beautiful in a dangerous way. Trees towered high, their leaves sharp-edged and dark. The air smelled metallic. Strange birds watched him with too many eyes. The ground was marked with claw prints larger than his body. He should not have lived, but humans adapt. Days passed. Elias learned which plants burned the skin and which could be eaten. He followed water sources. He avoided open ground. He moved when the predators slept. His wounds healed slowly. Then the hunters arrived. Alien drop ships entered the sky, breaking the clouds with thunder. Soldiers landed in groups, heavily armed, scanning the area. They were not afraid of the dead zone. They believed technology made them superior. They were wrong. The first patrol never returned. The dead zone did not fight like a battlefield. It hunted. The ground collapsed under heavy armor. Vines tightened like snakes. Creatures attacked from above and below. Screams echoed, then stopped. Elias watched from the shadows. He realized something important. The predators were not attacking him. They watched him, studied him. When danger came, they moved differently around him. One night he saw it clearly. A massive wolf-like beast stepped into the firelight of his camp. Its fur was thick dark silver, scarred from countless battles. Its eyes were not wild. They were calm. Elias did not raise a weapon. Slowly, carefully, he placed food on the ground and stepped back. The beast sniffed the air. It did not attack. It ate. From that moment, everything changed. As the alien hunters pushed deeper into the forest, they began to die faster. Not by accident, but by design. The beasts moved together now. Wolves, shadow panthers, and something far larger that crushed armored vehicles like toys. Elias did not command them with words. He did not control them with force. He learned their ways, their signals, their territory. The dead zone was not unlivable. It was claimed. When the alien warship finally scanned the surface again, it found something impossible. The hunters were gone. Their signals were silent. Fires burned where no camps should exist. And at the center of it all, a human stood alive. The war that humans ran from had followed Elias to the one place it could not win, and it had just begun to understand its mistake. The alien commanders did not understand what was happening on the dead zone. Their sensors showed chaos. Patrol signals vanished. Heavy units stopped responding. Drones sent for scouting were destroyed within minutes. The planet that was supposed to be empty was fighting back. They blamed the environment at first. Storms, magnetic interference, native wildlife, anything except a single human. Elias watched the sky change color as another alien ship entered orbit. He felt the ground vibrate when landing craft slammed into the forest miles away. The predators around him reacted immediately. The wolves lifted their heads. The panther-like creatures vanished into shadows. The great bear-shaped beast rose on its hind legs and released a deep warning sound that echoed through the trees. Elias understood then. This was not random. The dead zone had rules, and now it was preparing for war. He moved carefully through the forest, following paths only the beasts seemed to know. He carried no advanced weapons, only tools made from scrap and bone. Traps were placed where the ground looked safe but was not. He learned to read the land the way soldiers read maps. Fallen leaves meant weak soil. Bent trees meant underground tunnels. Silence meant danger. The alien troops advanced in tight formations. Their armor was strong, their weapons powerful, but they moved like machines. They trusted scans more than instinct. When scanners failed, panic followed. The first attack came without warning. Vines pulled soldiers into the earth. Wolves struck from behind, fast and silent. The panthers attacked from above, crushing helmets with precision. The aliens fired wildly, hitting nothing but trees and shadows. Elias did not fight from the front. He guided, he distracted. He led enemies into places where the dead zone waited. Each battle taught him more. The beasts watched him closely. They began to mirror his movements. When he stopped, they stopped. When he signaled, they moved. Days turned into weeks. The alien commanders changed tactics. They brought heavier units, walking tanks with plasma cannons, flying drones armed with fire. They burned sections of the forest, trying to force the predators into open ground. Smoke filled the sky, trees fell, the ground screamed. Elias felt anger rise inside him. This was his home now. The dead zone had accepted him when the galaxy had not. He led the beasts into the fire zones not to fight but to survive. They moved underground through tunnels made by massive creatures long before humans arrived. The bear beast cleared paths with its strength. The wolves guarded the rear. Elias guided them all, coughing through smoke, eyes burning. When the alien tanks advanced into what they believed was a clear area, the ground collapsed beneath them. Acidic water flooded their systems. Massive jaws rose from below, dragging metal into darkness. Explosions shook the forest, but the dead zone absorbed the damage. The alien commanders grew desperate. They sent a message on all frequencies. "This is your final warning," the voice said. "Human, identify yourself. Leave the planet or face total destruction." Elias listened from his shelter, surrounded by glowing eyes and heavy breathing. He did not answer. Instead, he acted. He targeted the supply lines. The alien troops depended on regular drops of power cells and food. Elias learned their schedules. He timed attacks with storms that blocked sensors. Beasts struck fast and disappeared. Supply ships were destroyed before landing. Hunger and fear spread through the alien ranks. Morale collapsed. Some soldiers tried to flee. The dead zone did not let them. One night, Elias stood on a ridge overlooking an alien camp. Fires burned low. Soldiers huddled together, exhausted. The great wolf stood beside him, silent and alert. Elias placed his hand on its thick fur. It did not pull away. They had become something new together. The final battle began at dawn. The alien commanders deployed everything they had left. Air strikes, heavy infantry, shock weapons designed to kill large creatures. The forest shook as energy tore through it. Trees burned. Ground split open. Creatures fell. Elias ran toward the chaos. He moved faster than fear. He shouted warnings to the beasts. He led charges. He fought hand to hand when needed, using speed and terrain instead of strength. Blood covered him, alien and human. Pain followed every step, but he did not stop. The bear beast charged a tank head-on, taking fire that should have killed it. It slammed into the machine, tearing it apart. Wolves swarmed soldiers, pulling them down. Panthers struck from smoke and fire. Then the alien commander arrived. Tall, armored, and glowing with energy, the commander stepped onto the battlefield with confidence. His weapon cut through trees with ease. His armor resisted every attack. He laughed as creatures fell around him. "You cannot win," the commander said, his voice amplified. "You are alone." Elias stepped forward. He was wounded, exhausted, covered in dirt and blood, but he stood. "I am not," Elias said. The ground trembled. From the smoke emerged every surviving beast of the dead zone. Wolves, panthers, reptiles, massive insects, and creatures that had never been seen by off-world eyes. They surrounded the commander in silence. The commander hesitated for the first time. The fight was short. When it ended, the alien forces were broken. Survivors fled to orbit. Ships jumped away without formation, without orders. The war was over. Elias collapsed beside the great wolf, breathing hard. The beasts gathered around him, forming a living wall. The dead zone was quiet again. Far above, the galaxy watched in fear and confusion. The planet they abandoned had chosen a human, and it would never be unclaimed again. The galaxy did not believe the first reports. When the alien fleets returned in broken formations, commanders demanded explanations. Ships were damaged. Crews were missing. Entire battalions were gone. The dead zone, a planet officially marked as unlivable, had defeated a modern invasion force. At first, the councils blamed failures in leadership. Then they blamed equipment errors. Only later did they face the truth. A single human had stayed behind. Long-range scans showed strange patterns on the planet's surface. Areas once wild were now organized. Predator territories overlapped without conflict. Fires burned in controlled lines. Structures had appeared where no buildings should exist. The dead zone was changing. Elias felt the change before the galaxy did. He had survived the war, but survival was no longer enough. The forest was healing slowly. Burned land began to grow again. Creatures returned to their dens. The beasts treated Elias differently now. They did not just accept him, they followed him. He moved through the land with confidence, no longer hiding. He built stronger shelters using stone, bone, and metal recovered from alien wreckage. Tools became weapons. Weapons became symbols. The dead zone responded to his presence like a living thing recognizing its core. One morning, Elias noticed something strange. A young predator had been injured near a riverbank. Its leg was broken and it could not stand. In the past, such weakness meant death. Elias approached slowly, speaking softly. He cleaned the wound and set the bone the best he could. The other beasts watched closely. When the predator survived, something changed again. Elias was no longer just a survivor or a fighter. He was a protector. Stories began to spread. Merchant ships passing near the dead zone detected unusual energy readings. Independent scouts reported movement patterns that looked like strategy, not chaos. Pirates avoided the system completely. Even the alien coalition placed the planet under silent observation instead of attack. Whispers reached human space. A human living alone on a death world. A human who fought beside monsters. A human the dead zone obeyed. Human leadership struggled with what to do. Some saw Elias as a threat. Others saw hope. A few wanted to make contact. They debated for months, fearing what they might find. Elias noticed the ships first. A small human vessel entered orbit carefully, broadcasting peaceful signals. It did not land right away. It waited. Elias stood on a high ridge, watching the sky. The beasts gathered behind him, silent but alert. After 2 days, the ship descended. 3 humans stepped out wearing light armor. They looked tired, nervous, and amazed. They expected a wasteland. Instead, they found order. They saw beasts sitting calmly beside a human, watching them with intelligent eyes. "We came to talk," one of them said. "We thought you might be dead." Elias did not smile. He listened as they spoke of the war, of how humans had retreated, of how the galaxy now spoke his name with fear and respect. They offered rescue. They offered rank. They offered safety. Elias looked around him, at the forest, at the beasts, at the land that had taken him in when no one else would. "This is my place," he said simply. The humans understood. They did not stay long. They left supplies and knowledge. They returned to their ship and promised to spread the truth. As they departed, Elias felt a strange weight lift. Humanity knew he lived. That was enough. The galaxy reacted fast. Trade routes shifted away from the dead zone. Military planners marked it as a high-risk system. Scientists wanted to study it but feared what guarded it. Some alien cultures began to question old beliefs. If a human could live there, what else were they wrong about? Elias became a legend while still breathing. But legends attract attention. One cycle later, a new presence arrived in orbit. Not a fleet, not a scout, something else. A massive structure unfolded in space, shaped like a ring. It broadcast a signal older than most civilizations. The signal was a challenge. An ancient alien race had taken notice. They did not conquer with armies. They tested worlds and those who claimed them. If Elias truly ruled the dead zone, he would face their judgment. Elias felt it before he saw it. The ground vibrated in a different way. The beasts reacted with caution instead of aggression. Something powerful was coming. A structure descended slowly from the sky, landing in a clearing without damaging the forest. Its surface was smooth, dark, and alive with symbols that shifted like water. A doorway opened. A figure stepped out. Tall, thin, and glowing faintly, the being looked at Elias with eyes that held centuries of memory. It spoke directly into his mind. "You are the anomaly," the voice said. "This world rejects all others, yet it accepts you." Elias stood his ground. "I did not force it," he answered. "I listened." The being observed the beasts, the land, the ruins of alien machines now part of the soil. "You have passed the first test," it said, "but survival and dominance are not the same as balance." Without warning, the land shifted. The ground split. Storm clouds formed instantly. Creatures Elias had never seen rose from deep caverns, massive and ancient, drawn by the being's presence. The dead zone was being pushed to its limits. "This is the second test," the being said. "If you truly belong here, you will protect it without destroying it." The beasts looked to Elias. For the first time since arriving on the dead zone, he felt uncertainty. This was not a battle to win. This was a trial to endure. He took a deep breath. "Then we endure," he said. The storm broke. The storm did not come like normal weather. It came with intent. Clouds twisted into sharp shapes, flashing with strange colors. The wind screamed through the forest, bending even the strongest trees. The ground shook as ancient creatures crawled out from deep beneath the dead zone, creatures that had not seen the sky for ages. Elias stood still while chaos formed around him. The glowing being watched without emotion. This was not an attack meant to kill him directly. It was pressure, a test of control, restraint, and understanding. Elias realized that quickly. If he fought with pure force, the dead zone itself would be destroyed. The beasts around him sensed the danger. Wolves growled low, panthers paced. The massive bear beast struck the ground with its claws, ready to charge. Elias raised his hands slowly. They stopped. That alone surprised the glowing being. Elias moved forward into the storm. Rain cut into his skin like sharp needles. Thunder rolled so loud it felt inside his chest. The ancient creatures were massive, some larger than buildings, with armored hides and glowing eyes. They were not evil. They were part of the dead zone's deepest balance. One of them roared and charged. Elias did not run. He moved sideways, guiding the creature away from the forest core. The wolves followed, not attacking, only herding. Panthers struck rocks and trees, redirecting movement instead of killing. Elias understood now. This was not about winning. It was about keeping the land alive. The glowing being observed closely. Another creature rose from the ground, its body like living stone. It crushed trees under its weight. Elias felt fear grip him, but he forced himself to stay calm. Panic would spread to the beasts. Calm would spread control. He climbed onto higher ground, waving his arms, shouting sharp sounds the predators recognized. The bear beast charged past him, slamming into the stone creature's side, not to kill, but to push. The creature stumbled, confused more than angry, and retreated back toward the caverns. Hours passed like this. The storm raged. Elias was cut, bruised, and exhausted. His voice was raw from shouting. His legs trembled from strain. Still, he did not stop. Each ancient creature was guided away, redirected, calmed, or driven back underground. At last, the storm weakened. The clouds slowly pulled apart. The wind softened. Rain became mist. The dead zone breathed again. Elias collapsed to one knee. The glowing being stepped forward. "You chose preservation over dominance," the voice said inside his mind. "Many before you failed here." Elias struggled to stand. "This place is alive," he said. "You don't own it, I don't own it, we belong to it." For the first time, the being showed something close to approval. "The dead zone agrees," it said. The symbols on its body shifted. The ground beneath Elias warmed. Energy flowed through the soil, through the trees, through the beasts. Elias felt it pass through him as well, not painful, not powerful, but steady. "You are now bound," the being said. "As long as you live, this world will stand." With that, the being returned to its structure. The ring lifted silently into the sky and vanished into deep space. The dead zone was quiet again. Recovery took time. Elias rested for days while the beasts guarded him. Wounds healed slowly. Burned land regrew faster than before. The forest seemed stronger, more aware. Elias felt connected in a way he could not explain. He could sense danger, storms, and movement through the ground itself. Far away, the galaxy felt it too. Sensors detected a shift in the dead zone's energy signature. It was stable now, controlled, alive in a new way. Ancient records were unlocked. Legends once dismissed as myth were re-examined. Some worlds had guardians. The dead zone had found one. Human ships returned again, this time with respect. They stayed in orbit, never landing without permission. Messages were sent asking for guidance, for alliance, for protection. Elias answered few of them. He was no king, but the galaxy began to treat him like one. Alien powers argued. Some demanded the dead zone be neutral. Others feared it. A few dreamed of taking it by force, but none dared move openly. The memory of the failed invasion still burned. Elias built more shelters, not just for himself, but for injured beasts. He mapped safe paths through the forest. He learned which storms brought life and which brought death. The dead zone taught him as much as he protected it. One night under a calm sky, Elias felt something new. A pull. Not from the forest, but from space. A distant signal, faint but clear. It was not hostile, it was human. A colony ship had been damaged, its engines failing, drifting toward the edge of the dead zone system. Pirates were closing in. Elias looked up at the stars. This was not a test. This was a choice. He could remain hidden, safe, and silent, or he could step beyond the dead zone and show the galaxy what humanity could become when it adapted instead of retreated. He made his decision. The beasts gathered as he prepared. Wolves howled. The bear beast stood tall. Elias repaired an old alien shuttle, integrating dead zone materials into its hull. It was crude but strong. When the ship lifted from the surface, the forest did not resist. It welcomed him back whenever he chose to return. As Elias flew toward the distant human ship, the galaxy held its breath. The guardian of the dead zone was leaving his world, and that frightened everyone. The human colony ship drifted slowly through space, its lights flickering, engines silent. Inside, fear spread with every passing minute. Power was low. Communications were weak. Pirates had already detected them and were closing in, confident this would be an easy prize. Elias saw the ship from a distance. Its hull was damaged, scars burned into metal. Life signs were stable but fading. He could feel the tension even through sensors. Humans were trapped just like he once was. The pirate ships arrived soon after. They were fast, sharp-edged vessels, painted in dark colors, armed with weapons stolen from many worlds. Their crews were mixed species, hardened by violence and greed. They did not expect resistance. They especially did not expect Elias. His ship emerged from dead zone shadow, engines burning with strange energy. Scans failed to read it correctly. The pirates hesitated for a moment, confused, then they laughed. "One ship," a pirate captain said. "Easy." They opened fire. Elias did not dodge immediately. He let the first shots strike his hull. The dead zone materials absorbed the impact, spreading energy instead of breaking. Elias pushed forward, closing distance fast. The pirates panicked. Elias fired once. The weapon was not advanced technology. It was raw power focused through dead zone crystal and alien metal. One pirate ship lost power instantly, drifting helplessly. Another exploded when its weapons overloaded. The rest tried to flee. Elias did not chase them far. He wanted witnesses. He turned toward the colony ship and docked carefully. When he entered, humans stared at him in silence. They saw the scars, the worn gear, the calm eyes. They felt something shift. "You're safe," Elias said simply. Relief broke through fear. Some cried, some laughed, some just sat down, unable to move. Elias helped restore basic systems. He shared power from his ship. He guided them toward a safe jump point away from danger. Before they left, the colony leader asked him a question. "Are you coming with us?" Elias shook his head. "I have work to do." When the colony ship jumped away, the galaxy noticed. Pirate networks exploded with rumors. A human guardian, a ship that could not be destroyed, a man backed by a death world. Some pirates laughed it off. Others packed up and moved far away from the dead zone system. Alien governments reacted faster. Emergency meetings were called. Military planners demanded action. Scientists warned against it. Ancient records were checked again. The name of the dead zone appeared beside words like balance and judgment. Then came the ultimatum. A powerful alien alliance sent a message to Elias directly. "Your actions destabilize the region," the message said. "You will submit to oversight or we will act." Elias listened without anger. He sent a short reply, "No." The alliance mobilized. This time it was not a raid or a test. It was a full show of force. Battleships gathered near the dead zone system, their weapons charged but held back. They did not enter the system. Not yet. They waited. Elias returned to the planet. The dead zone welcomed him like a living shield. Beasts gathered. The forest grew dense and dark. Storms formed at the edges of the atmosphere. The planet prepared itself. Elias stood at the center of it all, calm but focused. He knew this could not end the same way as before. The galaxy was watching. Fear alone would not be enough, so he did something unexpected. He broadcasted, to humans, to aliens. To anyone listening. "This world was abandoned," Elias said. "Not because it was dead, but because it was difficult. I stayed, I listened, I learned. The dead zone does not attack without reason, neither do I." He paused. "If you come in peace, you will leave in peace. If you come to take, you will lose." The message spread fast. Some mocked it, some feared it, some believed it. The alien alliance debated. Pride pushed them toward war, wisdom pulled them back. In the end, fear won. They sent one ship, not a warship, a diplomatic vessel. It entered the system slowly, weapons offline. Elias watched from the surface as it descended. Beasts surrounded him, silent and alert. The ship landed. A group of alien leaders stepped out, nervous but controlled. They saw the forest. They felt the air. They saw the predators watching from shadows, not attacking, only waiting. "You command this world?" one leader asked. Elias shook it. The galaxy changed quietly after that. There was no great celebration, no single announcement that declared a new age. Change came through behavior. Ships adjusted routes. Military fleets hesitated before crossing borders. Councils asked questions instead of giving orders. And every time a discussion turned toward the dead zone, the room grew silent. Elias remained where he had always been. He walked the forest paths, repaired shelters, and watched over the land that had become part of him. The beasts lived freely now. They no longer hunted in fear or desperation. Balance had settled deep into the soil. Storms came and went without destroying everything in their path. Life thrived in ways the galaxy had once believed impossible. Elias aged slowly. The dead zone did not make him immortal, but it strengthened him. Wounds healed faster. His senses stayed sharp. Years passed, then decades. Ships still came to orbit, never landing unless invited. Most left offerings in space. Supplies, knowledge, messages of respect. Humans visited rarely. When they did, they came not as soldiers or leaders, but as learners. Elias taught them how to survive without forcing control, how to listen to a world instead of breaking it. Some stayed for a time. None stayed forever. The galaxy continued to test boundaries. One day, far from the dead zone, a powerful empire attempted to enslave a young human colony. They believed humans were still weak alone. They sent a fleet. The fleet never reached its target. It was not Elias who stopped them. It was the lesson he had taught. The human colony adapted. They used the harsh environment of their world. They learned fast. They turned weakness into advantage. When the empire retreated in confusion, the galaxy understood something important. Elias had not created an exception. He had revealed a rule. Humans were dangerous not because they were strong, but because they refused to accept limits. Elias felt pride but not hunger for more. His role was not to lead humanity. It was to stand as proof of what was possible. As time passed, the ancient race returned once more, not in challenge, not in judgment. In recognition, the same glowing being appeared at the edge of the forest, stepping gently onto the soil. The beasts did not react with fear or aggression. They watched calmly. "You have done what few ever do," the being said in Elias' mind. "You protected without ruling. You shaped without conquering." Elias nodded. "I stayed," he said. "That's all." The being studied him carefully. The bond between you and this world will not last forever, it said. Nothing does. When you are gone, the dead zone will change again. Elias had known this. I trust it, he said, just like it trusted me. The being seemed pleased. When your time ends, it said, your story will remain. Worlds will remember not your strength, but your choice. With that, the being vanished, leaving the forest untouched. Elias felt tired for the first time in many years, not weak, complete. He spent his final days walking familiar paths, touching trees, listening to the quiet language of the land. The beasts stayed close, sensing the change even if they did not understand it. One night, Elias sat beside a fire under a clear sky. Stars stretched endlessly above him. The dead zone breathed softly around him. He closed his eyes. When morning came, Elias did not wake. The beasts gathered silently around him. No howls, no roars, only stillness. The forest itself seemed to bow, leaves lowering, wind softening. The dead zone accepted his passing. Years later, explorers would tell stories of the planet that watched you back, of predators that did not attack unless you meant harm, of storms that parted for the patient and crushed the arrogant.